Well, hey, Facebook, and wherever else we go, YouTube, right, Michael?
Absolutely.
Dr. Michael B. Gross on YouTube.
That's how you can find us. Thank you, everyone.
We are thrilled to be here today to share some topics uh, and words of wisdom, I'm going to say,
Thank you. Yes, they
with
are.
on the topic of self-esteem. So, first, why don't we just tell everybody who we are, and we thank everybody for being here today, donating their precious time. But this is my guest,
Dr. Michael Gross.
my dear friend, Dr. Michael Gross, and yeah, he has changed so many lives. He has really,
Thank
truly
you.
made a huge impact on mine. And I wanted to come and give him just a few little accolades because my life is so much better and I am so much happier since we've met. Anyway, to get to the point, I'm going to. I usually do a script, and I'm going to try and not do a script, okay? Because I've known this man for over 3 years. And Dr. Michael Gross is the author of a beautiful book called The Spiritual Primer. He's a transformational coach, spiritual coach, an entrepreneur, and an incredible teacher. And he's been working on helping us discover who we are,
Yes.
helping us awaken our souls for over 3 decades. So, on that note, Michael, is there anything you'd like to share with the people? I also remember one part.
Go ahead.
He's very, very good at, well, he's got a plethora of things that he's good about. But the one thing that I would like to say is that he has performed some miraculous healings. And to learn more about that, definitely connect with us and we can share more with regarding that. And he's also a Reiki master. Um, what else do you do, Michael?
Intuitive, past life regressionist, and healer, and all kinds of stuff. But more importantly, it's all about discovering who you are and to find out what you're all about, to do your spiritual mission and goals so that you can change your life for the life of others and change the energy on this planet that is so confused, so angry, and so upset. Because, as I say, you are the solution and you can make a difference. And that's what we're all about.
Absolutely.
So, why don't we get right to the
Why don't we
subject?
get to the topic? And Michael, at the end, why don't you talk a little bit about the nonprofit at the end too? Okay,
Sure.
when you talk about the other things that you do.
All right.
Okay, we have a lot to talk about in a very short amount of time. So thank you again. And our topic tonight is self-esteem. Go ahead, Michael.
Thank you. So, I thought I'd talk about self esteem for us to really understand that. And self esteem is quite an interesting subject. And self esteem talks about you, just you. So, how do we get self esteem? Well, we look for accolades and compliments. And why is it when we can get 2,700, I'm exaggerating here, compliments in a row, and you get one negative one, you hang on to the negative one, and it destroys your whole day? Like, well, I received 20 great compliments, but XYZ said something, and oh, I'm so depressed.
I can relate to that. I can so totally relate to
Why
that.
is that? It's because we don't believe who we are. First of all, we change the basics. The basics are you're a human being and you're a spiritual soul having a human experience. Well, we've all heard that before. But more importantly, what are you? You're energy, right? And energy responds to energy. Like attracts like, darkness or negativity attracts anger, frustration. Now, when we look at self esteem, when I said like attracts like, you hang around with people that you really love, you care about for the most part. There are exceptions to the rules, but I'm talking generalities. And then again, there are other people who are negative, jealous, insecure. And what do? They say negative things, they put you down, your ego gets in the way. And as I say, after you've received 27 or 100 compliments, the one negative makes you lower than a pregnant snake. So I was like, how low can I go? Used to be a rock and roll song like that. But getting back to the thought about self esteem, first of all, I want all of you to understand you are perfect, ever growing more perfect. That's so important for you to understand. There's no such thing as total perfection because you're growing, you're moving forward. And what your belief system was at 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever it is, it's changed completely. Well, what makes that change? It gives you knowledge. What is knowledge? Knowledge is understanding and knowingness. What is that? Has to do with self-esteem. I have talked in the past that you are like an antenna. You send and receive information. But we have to use the gift of discernment to discern, why is somebody complimenting you? Well, because you've done good work, or they admire you, or perhaps that's your epitaph to awaken people or different souls to do different things. And then we look at the other side of the coin, so to speak, and there are those that are jealous, that put you down, angry, or upset. Or maybe when you say a truth, they don't want to hear it. Therefore, they attack, the fight, flight, or frozen. So we, at times, are in the fight, the flight, or frozen. And I will tell you, there are a lot of times that people push my buttons. Sometimes they're justifiable. Other times I realize it's just their ego, because if they don't feel good about themselves, they have to put someone down so they feel good about themselves. I'm bad, but you're worse, so I feel better about myself. What a stupid, terrible thought to have. Everybody's on their own life path, and everybody has to understand that self-esteem comes deep within your heart, understanding who you are, understanding you're perfect, ever growing more perfect, understanding you're learning new things that are empowering you. Well, there's an interesting thought. I'm learning new things that are empowering me. What does that really mean? Well, we learn by two ways. We visibly or audibly hear things. That's one. We observe is number two. And number three, it's all about personal growth. So we can listen to something or visualize something, you learn something. Or if you're put down or criticized or judged, you learn something. One of the most important things we have to realize is that everything in your life is a mirror. You'll meet people, not everyone, of course. You will meet souls that will mirror some of your pains and aches and situations you're going through. And there are other times you're going to mirror people who are very successful, and you have been successful or successful in the current or in the past. So the mirror effect is for you to look at yourself through someone else. The positivity, I don't like the word negativity, or the challenges. And the reason I use the word challenges is negativity, sometimes you feel lower than a pregnant snake, as I said, where a challenge says, I'm learning something I can do, something I desire to change, and I have to grow. And as the old cliche that Jusho shared with me, when the mind can conceive, the body will believe. Set that aside. Therefore, I've talked about the anniversary of your birth, not your birthday, because the connotation has to do with self-esteem. And so I'm looking at my mother and father. Oh, I'm a little baby and I'm excited. And I grow older. And you look at your grandparents, they get old and wrinkled. And then you look at your parents and they're getting that way. And your self-esteem says, well, I'm going to look like them. Well, stop for a minute. Why are you manifesting looking like your parents? Now, they may be beautiful people, but the reason we don't celebrate birthday, part of your self-esteem, is because it's the anniversary of your birth. You're not going to get older, but you will, and you may or may not look like grandma and grandpa or your parents as they age. See, it's your choice. It has to do, am I worthy? Does my self-esteem feel good about me? Am I knowing that I can be younger and stronger and healthier? I was watching a YouTube where I think he was 91 and she was 88 and they were doing the jitterbug.
I remember.
Oh my gosh, he was tossing her around and everything. Went, whoa. Yeah, they looked like they were older, but what energy they had. And then I look at my energy and I said, well, when I get sedentary, my muscles tighten up, I get a little flaccid, I got to go out and exercise.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
It's interesting that you would say birthday, anniversary of our birth, because mine is sneaking up,
Yeah.
and we had this conversation just the other day with some coworkers who said, "Oh, I'm 18, I'm 23," and when I told them how old I was going to be, they all looked at me in shock. And I remember thinking that you're so spot on with mindset because My mother, when she turned 50, she said, "Oh, I'm old." And she started walking older, dressing older, feeling older, and her health went downhill. And yet, I looked at her back then and she taught me because of her actions on her birthday, when she turned 50, I thought to myself, there is never in my life that I will think that way.
Exactly. So what you think you create, what you create you experience. Well, stop for a minute. Self-esteem. What thoughts are you putting into your body to behave? What are you thinking about and what are you creating? All this ties in so many facets in our life. But self-esteem is to think about yourself and who are you? What are you about? And what are you achieving in your life? And focus on the beautiful things you have achieved, will achieve, and will create in the years to come. I talk to so many people and they say, well, I don't want to live to 95 or 100, they say. Well, why? Well, they think they're going to be old, decrepit in a nursing home or an adult family home or whatever. Well, guess what? Go for it. That's what you want. Your self esteem says, I'm not worth anything any better than this. Go for it. Isn't that interesting? Therefore, what we need to do is know we are creating our body, our minds, and our situations in life 24/7 by how you think. Now, think about that. How you think. Remember, I said before 94% of your life comes from your subconscious mind, 6% comes from the conscious mind. So, whatever you think, whatever your self esteem is, excuse me, you are going to become whatever you're thinking about. Why? Because you have low self esteem. Self esteem says, do I feel good about myself? Am I worthy of having joy and happiness? Do I care enough about my life? Do I want to have fun? Well, why not? I know people that are in their 80s and 90s and they're playing pickleball, which I understand is the new sport, which yours truly is going to be taking up shortly. Sounds like a lot of fun. I used to play tennis, but I kind of like pickleball, I think, a lot better. But I'm experimenting. And that has to do with self esteem. You experiment on new things. And when you reach a certain age, whether you're 20, 30, 50, or older, well, I tried it and I can't do it. Gosh, but remember when you were a child and you went on your first two-wheeler bike and you had a mommy or daddy help you. What was that term determination? I can do this. I'm going to learn. And you maybe fall and you injured your knees or your elbow, but you got up and did it again and again till you mastered it. What's happening in our lifetime once we get older? So many souls have so little self esteem that if they can't accomplish something right away, they just give up. Remember when you first tried to ride a bike, or maybe when you went ice skating, or roller skating, or skiing, or you played volleyball, or tennis, or whatever you did. Remember that because the only person in charge of your life, not your mom and dad, not your grandparents, not your spouses, not your children, not even those you associate with. It's you. It's all about you. Self esteem says, I can do anything. Remember my story with my mother saying to me when I was a little boy, Michael, you can do anything. I've talked about that. And even to this day, when I take on a new process or subject, sometimes I sigh, I don't want to do this. I really don't want to do it. And I hear the voice, Michael, you can do anything. So that's why I use my moniker, so to speak. And my branding is You Are Unlimited because you are. And that ties in, you can do anything. When I worked with so many souls, I have them say, look in the mirror, and 3 times before you go to sleep, look in the mirror and say, you are unlimited, or whatever affirmation you wish to use. Scientific proof 90, 94% of your thinking comes from your subconscious mind, 6% from the conscious mind. Conscious thought, put it in the subconscious. Now you go to sleep, and that thought, you are unlimited, will be reviewed 60 to 90 times in your sleep. Well, people say, I've tried it once or twice, it didn't work. Of course it didn't work. You know why? Because your self esteem is so low that you doubt whether it can happen. You need to do it for 90 days in a row. And If I were you, I'd do it every day because once you're on a roll, you really don't want to stop. And I meet so many of my old students go, well, my life has gone, kitty wampus, it's down. Are you doing this? Are you doing this? Are you doing this? And this I call the basic. Well, no. Okay, I'll talk to you later. They get off the phone right away because they're embarrassed. Well, the
You're
truth,
going to call them on their stuff.
exactly. And I've been at this for a long time, many years, and I do it every day. My affirmations, you are unlimited. I do that every day.
Me too.
And repetition, repetition, repetition. And why do you have to repeat it all the time? It's because you are surrounded with so many challenges in your life that if you're at a weak moment, you're going to fall for the trap that you have low self-esteem, you're not worthy, you're not good enough, everything in your life is kittywampus, blah 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 blah. One of the most important items I wish to share with you today is that I've noticed everybody in their life somewhere between 45 and 55, give or take a few years, they have a crisis in their life, and then they overcome the crisis, and their whole life does a 180-degree turnaround positively because they learned something more valuable. This self-esteem comes in other ways than materiality. How you feel about yourself, your emotions, your thoughts, your self-esteem is a projection of who you are. They talk about souls who have stage presence. They walk in and everybody looks at them because they have confidence. They feel good about themselves. They know they can achieve everything or certain things or whatever their life is. And that has to do with self-esteem. How are we doing with time? What do we got left?
We've got about 12 minutes, but
All right.
I have a question real quick.
Sure.
Is that, could you then paraphrase what you're saying is rewiring our thinking, how we think? Because if we've been programmed for years and years and years and years in a certain mindset, then in order to like flip the switch, you could say, for your self-worth and your self-esteem, wouldn't it come from rewiring how you think? What's the thing you do when you talk about too much negativity every day?
Well, one of the most important things is, and I'll answer that, but I want to partially answer that, is that everything in your life is an example for you to grow from. It builds self-esteem. And remember when I was talking to Spirit, or the True Source said failure means success. It means you learned something that worked, it didn't work. But that's not what you're taught. What you're taught, you fail, you're no good, you're unworthy, blah, 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 blah. And maybe sometimes it was said unintentionally to, inspire you. I remember when I was in geometry class and I had a teacher. She probably was 65 or 66, of course. In geometry, she looked like 187. Taught by intimidation because she thought she would fire you up. Well, I don't work well under intimidation. Today, I listen and blow it off, so to speak, because I know it's from someone else's ego trying to make them feel good, or maybe trying to help me. Anyway, so in geometry, in New York State, we have the New York State Regents. It didn't matter whether your grades in school was 99 or 100 or whatever it was. If you flunked the New York State Regents, you flunked geometry. Well, obviously, I was running at a D plus. Whoa!
Oh,
I was really smart. Running at a D plus is because she intimidated me, and some of the girls in the class, when they screwed up, they would be crying. So what happened is the passing grade in geometry in New York State Regents was 58, and I got like 50.
Oh no!
So I had to go to summer school. I went to summer school. I had a great teacher. She was phenomenal. She was really great. Made everything crystal clear. So when not only did I get a 98 on the class, I had to take another New York State Regents, and I got 98.
Good
What did
job.
it teach me? Thank you. It taught me that self-esteem, I gave up my self-esteem, who I truly am, to a woman who probably meant well, but doesn't work and didn't understand how to motivate other students. Now, I don't know how many, failed, and there were a lot of different summer schools you could go to. But I remember I went to Vincentian Institute, which was a Catholic school, and teacher was great. And I aced it. And from that point on, except for maybe once in a blue moon, I realized I can do anything I so desire to do.
Just
And
like what your mom said.
just what my mom said.
Wow.
Sometimes we have to learn things the difficult way. Sometimes we learn by explanation, sometimes by reading it. Most of the time, we learn by observing what's going on. As you're hearing me talk about self esteem, I would like you to understand that everybody in your life is a mirror. And this mirror is for you to look at yourself. As intuitive, I do a lot of intuitive readings. And I remember in the early days, I would tune in and give this advice or tell them a little bell would go off. Hey, Michael, are you listening? Yeah, that's me. Now I know why that person came to me. I better start listening to the advice I give because it pertains to me. And that's what's so important. And yet, our self esteem, and I had been doing intuitive readings of the Boeing Psychic Fair, which is part of the Boeing, for over 25 years. I started when I was 3, so I just thought I'd let you know. And women or guys would come to me and they said, am I going to change job? Going to have a love in my life? And I said to one woman, yeah. She said, well, I heard that from 5 other intuitives. So I stopped and said, why'd you come to me? You've heard it 4 times. Well, I want to be sure. So there's something within her that my self esteem wasn't worthy of hearing good things. So after that, I said, Spirit, I don't want any of that stuff. I want serious people. I don't want, am I going to get a better job? I'm going to make money. I do 50, 60 intuitive readings in a day. They were 15 minutes long. It's like, I'm tired of same question over and over and over again. What's important? Part of our self esteem comes from superficial things, the cars, our homes, our job, whatever feeds our ego. Well, that's really great. But when it stops feeding your ego, what happens? Lower than a pregnant snake again. Because you don't realize what a beautiful person you are, and what a great influence you're having not only in your life, but everyone else's life. Stop for a moment and realize what's controlling and manipulating you. And it has to do with your belief system. You are worthy. You are magnificent. You were created out of love, by love, and from love. And your future is whatever you desire it to be. Remember that because that's part of your self esteem. You know that expression, God don't make no junk. And that's truly, you are beautiful. You are unlimited. And you are the creator of your life. Wake up, open up your eyes, and fulfill your destiny and fulfill your self worth, your self love, most importantly, your self esteem. Remember that. You are beautiful, you are wonderful, and the only limitations you have affect your self esteem. Who are you? A magnificent soul. Who are you? An unlimited soul. Who are you? You're a person that can create anything in your life you so desire. When is the time to start? Now, not tomorrow, not in a week, but this very moment. So thank you, everyone. How are we doing on time?
It's time to wrap it up.
All right. Thank you so much. I want to thank all of you. I want to share about 40 seconds or 30 seconds, as I've talked about this so much. I have founded the International Institute of Self Empowerment, TISE, TIISE, as we call it. The reason I've created it, because the True Source said to create it. I didn't question why, wherefore, how come, how's it going to work out? Okay, I'll do it. Because I've learned don't argue, because I know there's a reason for everything. Then the second thing is that I was told it was going to have 12 arms of extensions. First one has to do with abused women, children, and men. And that's what we're going to be working on. And after I began to work with TU, I realized about abused women. We'll talk about that later. And I decided, yes, we are going to work with abused women, children, and men. So that's our current goal. I'll talk more about it in another time. But we're a 501c3, TIISE, the International Institute of Self Empowerment, the magnificent, heavy undertaking to help abused women, children, and men. But I don't think there's a better thing that we can do than to heal and change the lives of abused people. So in that vein, I asked you, who is the expert in it, to be my director at that area of the International Institute, and she agreed. So thank you.
You're welcome. My honor.
And every Tuesday night, 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, I talk about soul awakening, where you ask any question you so desire. And then what I do is give a 10 to 15 minute little motivational talk about something that's very important. You said I have 200 and what?
You have over 285 messages in there now, and I had to look away and find the numbers on my phone. So when you're ready for the phone numbers, I got
All
them.
right. So in order for you to participate, which I encourage all of you, even if you don't have a question, you always learn something new. And if you are spiritual, you learn something new or it will be a reminder. To access that on Tuesday evening, telephone number is
Telephone number is 202-926-1059, and the
the access code is 125-446 pound.
One more time. It's 202-926-1059, and the code, Michael?
Access code is 125-446 pound. All right. In that vein, the second Saturday of every month from 9:55 a.m. to 11:01 a.m. What I have is what I call mass consciousness awakening. It's not only for me, but for all of us to awaken our souls, Mother Earth, its inhabitants, everything that exists on this planet, the animal, mineral, and vegetable kingdom, that they are unlimited, that they need healing, and that also to awaken all of us to do our missions and goals on a spiritual basis and remind us of our origin and our essence, because your origin and essence is you are part of the true source. Access that telephone number is the same as the Tuesday night call in, and that telephone number is
202-926-1059.
And the access code is 125-446 pound. Also, I'd like to share with you, because there are approximately 285 messages, I call it the replay. And to access that information, you're stuck in traffic, you're feeling sad, you're angry, you're upset, whatever it may be, all you need to do is dial this number. And that number is
434-300-4170, and access code?
Same 125-446 pound. We'll give that number one more time.
Absolutely. It's 434-300-4170, and
the access code is 125-446 pound. When you call in, it's going to ask you what number replay, and it's 3 through 285. Don't worry what it is. Just pick a number, any number. And you know why? Because your soul is telling you, whether you're aware of it or not, I need to hear that message. Can't tell you how many people go, oh, just what I needed to hear, Michael. It's so important. Everyone, listen to the replays. It's all inspiring. It's channeled from the true source, because all of us need to be awakened and to remember who we are. Everyone, one more point we'd like to bring up.
One more thing with phone numbers and everything, okay?
Yes.
Please go to YouTube, Dr. Michael B. Gross, and hit the subscribe button. All of the recordings we're putting up there on the YouTube channel. And also everything that we've done on our Thursday and formerly Sunday nights for the last 2 years is also there. So definitely take your time and go and subscribe, okay?
All right, thank you. And what we have to do, what we're talking about is our books. And it's our books.
Who's got which book?
Well, I'm looking at the book because I'm on her right, but my screen's showing me on her left. So it's kind of a little confusing.
That is funny.
Anyway, this is called Healing the Holes in Your Soul. It's about Tia's journey from darkness into light and the rebirth, the phoenix who came out of the ashes. It's a beautiful, inspiring book. It's very positive. It will help change your life. And we talk about our books because we're not really in the business to sell books. We're in the business of nothing, but what we are doing our spiritual work to awaken your souls because we're in service to your awakening and to your empowerment. Must read.
But start with this one, because if it wasn't for this book and this gentleman sitting to my right, that book that he's holding wouldn't even be in existence, okay? He wrote the forward in that book, and he's the one that kind of convinced me to write it because I was originally writing a totally different book, but he said, no, no, people need to hear your story. And I'm so glad he encouraged me to keep going. Truly a gift for me to be here sitting in your presence, Michael. I honor you, and I'm so grateful you found me.
Thank you. Everyone, there'll be information how you can obtain these books. Amazon is out of them for a while, but
you can't get a signed copy through Amazon anyway.
Exactly. And the reason I'm saying you can contact us for our individual books. So no problem. Everyone, I want to thank all of you, and I want to give thanks for your participation in taking the time for you to tune in and listen to us. And again, go to Dr. Michael B. Gross YouTube. Not only can you get the back copies of our presentations on video, but also the messages that are being done right now on video, so to speak. The photography is done by Tia Naps, award-winning photographer, with a little bit of information, and then you'll hear the recording. Everyone, I wish you a happy week. I wish you joy. I wish you achievement, all your dreams, because you are unlimited. Namaste, everybody. Namaste. We love you. Take care.
Thank you.